Hello, my name is John and today on Mono Story we're going to be talking about the new One Piece remake and its official release date. So let's get into it and find out what it's all about.
面白い海賊を見つけたのだが、ふとお前が昔していた話を思い出した。ある小さな村の面白いガキの話。嘘か。
The new One Piece anime remake will be releasing on February 2027. It'll be releasing on Netflix. And it is being made by Wit Studios, whose previous works were such things as Spy Family and Attack on Titan. It is going to have 7 episodes and cover up to chapter 50 of the One Piece manga. This will be from Romance Dawn to about midway through the Baratie arc. This means we'll get up to the point where Nami portrays the Straw Hats, as well as Zoro will be issuing a challenge, if not fighting with Mihawk. The importance of the One Piece anime remake is, I think, unprecedented for the One Piece anime, as it is going to bring in a new audience, as the original anime made by Toei was made in 1999. So at that time the animation was beautiful. However, that was for 1999. In 2026, the animation now is outdated. If you were to look at things such as the Egghead and Albaf arc, the animation is cutting edge. However, if you go back to 1999 with the Romance Dawn arc or the Syrup Village arc, then you will see that the animation gets worse very quickly. Additionally, with the new One Piece anime remake, it will improve on the pacing, as the original anime made by Toei had terrible pacing. This was due to it needing to be made for the TV formula, therefore it needed to have an episode every week. This meant that there were things such as filler, or episodes that were made by the chapter rather than having 3 or 4 chapters in one episode. This meant it slowed down the progress of the story and lowered the actual hype or fights that were within the One Piece story. One example of this would be the Doflamingo versus Luffy fight in the Dressrosa arc. Originally, this fight in the manga was very beautifully drawn by Eiichiro Oda, and therefore it should have exemplified that in the anime. However, due to Toei's pacing issues, it dragged the fight out longer than it needed to be, therefore lowering the actual hype of the fight and the importance of it due to it being dragged out to the point where it just became an actual drag to continue on watching. So having 7 episodes is not only going to improve the pacing of the story, but give it beautiful animation. Now, what do I want to see in the One Piece anime remake? And firstly, I want to at least see it get to the end of the pre-time skip arc. So we're going to get at least all the way to the end of Marineford, however long that takes. It might take 3 years, 5 years, however long it takes to animate all of One Piece up to the pre-time skip, I will be happy. I want to see, though, specific arcs, and they are the Enies Lobby arc, specifically the Rob Lucci versus Luffy fight, where we see Gear 3. Also, the Blueno fight would be pretty good, where we see Gear 2 with Luffy. And all of the end of Impel Down and Marineford arc. Those whole 2 arcs, every episode I want to see animated in this remake. That will be cinema. That will be what will be necessary for everyone to understand that One Piece is one of the best anime and manga in our lifetime.
One Piece は実在する!
I am very excited for the One Piece anime remake, as it will be even more One Piece content for all of us One Piece enjoyers. One Piece will also yet again be defining another generation. We already have the Toei anime, however long that has gone on for over 1,000 episodes. We now have the live action remake, and now we have this One Piece anime remake. So there's so much content of One Piece to bring in a new viewer that is very hard to ignore, which even tells me that One Piece now will outlast potentially time itself, which means that generations and technology will change, but One Piece will always be somewhere, whether it be in the clothes someone wears, or the food that someone eats, or the stories that they speak about. There will always be One Piece somewhere there. But I want to hear what you think about the One Piece anime remake. Do you think it's going to be good, bad, and why? So please write that down in the comment section below. My name is John from Mono Story. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, and pressed the bell button, please do so. If you want to watch another video, click up above. If not, until next time, I will see you on another Mono Story.